Hello and welcome back to the Cozy News Corner for week 51, your source to open source news. And today we are going to talk a little bit about some Linux applications and some political leanings that are going on in the world. And we're going to start with Scribbus, an open source publishing app to create publishing materials like newspapers and those kind of things, and probably can write books with this as well. I haven't used it. It seems that it has a better PDF export functionality. It also has light and dark mode and eyedropper and so on. So it's really good that there are more of these kind of tools. I have seen a bunch of publishing tools in my days because I have been working in media for 10 years now. So I've seen a lot of the result of publishing tools. So a lot of different work that people have been, a lot of tools that people have been using have produced materials that I later have to clean up. So hopefully this will be a good solution for some of these publishers. And I'm gonna look into it and see what it actually will produce. So I'm a little bit curious about this one. Next up, we have the GNOME project that is pretty fed up with all the slop, the AI slop that is out there. So this is from the FOSS, Sharav, and the GNOME project had a bunch of different code commits for the different extensions that came in, and one of the developers had gone through and found about 15,000 lines of code and spent over 6 days or spent more than 6 hours for many days going through 15,000 lines of code. And a lot of the changes that were made was adding these kind of try-catch statements and other things that weren't really important for the actual work, and in some cases totally unnecessary. So they have said that if they find these very typical AI created blocks, they will probably tell people that they can't contribute anymore. So it's really sad that all this slop is created without people actually caring about what the end result is. So, of course, you should help out. You should support open source. You should create media. You should do things. But the key part there is you should. So if just a machine creates something and you don't really put any work into it, it doesn't really add anything to the society. The machine just cobble again together things that have already been done, so we don't really have any, we don't go forward, we just create more of the same. Next up we have Denmark is really, or they're really trying to ban VPNs. So this was really controversial and it got stopped, and perhaps they are rethinking it, and perhaps they will produce another of these kind of legislations. But they were looking into not allowing VPNs to go past geo-blocked content, and this is a way of kind of hamper down and say that this kind of material is the only thing that you can see, a little bit like the firewall of China. So they are trying to do a similar thing here in order to keep track on their citizens. I use VPN 24/7 because I'm connected to a lot of different networks. So if somebody said that VPNs were outlawed, then I would not be able to do my work, which would be really sad. Next up, we have, again, Denmark is trying to exit their independence or their dependence on Microsoft and will use more open source utilities as well. And in this news here, there is a bunch of different quotes, but mainly they are trying to steer away from applications like Word and Outlook, Excel, Teams, and so on, and use open source alternatives instead. And they also asked the Denmark representative for Microsoft, and they said pretty much that solutions are solutions are fairly priced and so on, and are used to be secure for the public sector, but they really like the competition. So we have seen more and more of these kind of public sector agencies that have gone over to use more open source, and perhaps this will continue. We'll see. Next up, we have Docker. And the Docker Hub has these kind of Docker images that are hardened. They have just a particular set of packages in it, and a smaller set of packages. And they also have this SBOM, Software Bill of Materials. So they have actually gone through and typed down everything that is installed in this particular image and verified and so on. And then that enterprise grade hardened image, they also have an SLA of 7 days. So a service level agreement that they will fix any bugs or reported issues within 7 days. And this was an enterprise feature before that you had to pay for in order to get this kind of support. But now they have actually released these enterprise grade hardened images for free so that all developers can use these, which is really cool. And for some particular use cases, I can see that I would like this to be used as well. For instance, maybe we want to deploy some Ceph cluster with the Ceph admin. To have those particular kind of images enterprise hardened would be really nice. Next up, we have the decentralized YouTube alternative PeerTube. Has now added more support for creators, and mainly they have added this kind of group thing that you have on YouTube, that you can start a YouTube channel. This could be a brand channel, and then you can have many interested parties being there working on it. Some can use to do the marketing, some can do the translations, other people can upload the actual content, some can be doing different things on the same channel. Before on PeerTube it was pretty much one publisher, one person that published one account, and you couldn't really connect more accounts to the same channel. So that is something that PeerTube now have added. Next up, we have a big change in the Postgres community, and they have now added a particular extension that is used for free text search. So this company called Tiger Data, that are behind Timescale DB, have this plugin, PG Text Search, that is an extension that brings a really fast text search to Postgres pretty much. So before you had Elasticsearch, you have Solr and different solutions where you load and index data in order to do a really quick free text search. But with this plugin, you will have a fast search anyway, so maybe you don't need a separate search engine for some applications. So that's an interesting thing that is now open source. Next up, we have Debian. And Debian has this kind of solution, or not really Debian. There is a solution for Ubuntu, which is Debian based, called PPA, which is a system where you can add extra repositories and load packages over time. So you add a PPA, and that PPA it could contain packages that could be from the community, not hosted by Ubuntu, but is an extension to your operating system. And Debian has similar things, but not really one place where you can publish these. So, for instance, if you want to add Ceph packages, you add an extra Ceph list with the Ceph packages hosted at Ceph, and then you can download them from there. But Debian is now opening up a repository where you can, as a publisher, can publish to Debussine, and then you could have Debussine in your Debian installation and download packages from there, which are published by other people but hosted by Debian. So it's a really interesting development, and I think this could help the community to have a faster turnaround on actually deploying packages, and you don't really have to have that many of these extra repositories in your installation. And last but not least, we have systemd. And systemd is now in release version 259, so they are not using the normal versioning system, they just have a version. And in this release they have added experimental muzzle support for libc. So usually you run glibc in Linux, and that is the backbone of everything. So that GNU library is where everything is built against, and everything is working against glibc. But a way back they realized that glibc was a really large dependency, and when you wanted to create smaller disk images you wanted something more lightweight, and then they came up with muzzle, which is much smaller and doesn't contain everything, but it contains everything that is required for this particular use case. And systemd now have experimental support for this. They have also added support for persistent storage and journaling there between. And they have also added support for TPM 2.0. Before it was just 1.2. And this trusted platform module is something that is used mainly by Windows 11 in order to add security to Windows, and that's a reason why you need to buy a new computer if you want to run Windows 11, and also the reason why many people just stop using Windows altogether. And so I'm not sure what we would use the TPM for now. Don't really see a reason for it. There is use cases, but none of them that are interesting to me at the moment. Maybe I'll look into that in a video in the future if you could find an interesting use case for TPM. And they have also added counters so you can see when people are killed due to memory and so on, and also more flags to handle this OOM, and that is something that I'm really interested in because I have been running a bunch of applications that suddenly just died, and we found out that they were killed due to this. And usually it's not really the application that is the problem. Usually it's there's something else in the system that does something bad, and that kills our application because we ran out of memory. So those kind of things are great that they can count them and also give you more information so you can actually find the issue. So this was what we had for today. This was week 51 of open source news. I hope that you found this interesting. I hope that you learned something today. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues, and I really want to see you in the next one.